Hi, I'm Rafał. Welcome back to the channel. So recently I have received a set of questions about the behavior of the engine of the new 2026 KTM 690 Enduro R in some very specific situations. So today I will be testing those. So first of all, low RPM constant speed stability, then slow traffic and crawling behavior, then throttle snatchiness, on-off transition, and the last one will be low speed engine heat and radiator fan behavior. So let's get into it. Okay, one thing I have to tell you before we'll start those tests is that here in Poland we have 10% of bioethanol added to the fuel. And I know it varies across countries. Some countries have 5% of bioethanol, we have 10, and this is definitely influencing how the engine performs. So please keep that in mind. It should not be a huge difference, but let's have that in mind. All right, so I will try to keep steady 3000 RPM on second gear. I don't feel any chain slapping, the bike is not hunting for fuel, it's not, you know, like a bucking horse. So it's a very stable run on the second gear with 3000 RPM. Okay, let's move to the third gear, and I'm now in the street mode. Okay, 3000 RPM on third gear. Also very stable, nothing happens to the chain. I don't feel the chain snapping. Everything works as expected, and this is the street mode. And now the same thing on off-road mode. So I'm gonna get to 3000 RPM. Okay, same thing, very smooth engine performance, no chain slapping, no hunting for fuel. This is the second gear. Now let's move to the third, again 3000 RPM. Hold on. We are about 3000 RPM, and again nothing happens. The bike runs very smoothly at 3000 RPM. No drama here. Alright, so the test number 2, the slow traffic and crawling behavior. I will try to keep my hand off the clutch, and let's see how it behaves. This is first gear, 14 kilometers an hour. Let me see if I can slow down to 10. Okay, so the first gear is around, okay, so with 12. Okay, so with 12 kilometers an hour and closed throttle, I can feel the bike struggling a bit. But as soon as I reach 14-15 kilometers an hour, I am able to crawl smoothly. Okay, let me go 20 kilometers an hour. Okay, without using the clutch, I can still feel the bike was struggling a little bit, but nothing massive. Like, let me slow down again, no clutch. 14 kilometers an hour. The bike is crawling. I can feel it is a little bit struggling, but this is nothing even close to stalling. Okay, now the surface has changed. Okay, so that was on gear 1 in the street mode. Let's test the second gear. Okay, I am now feathering the clutch. Okay, so second gear, 17 kilometers an hour. This is where the bike is struggling a bit. I am opening up the throttle. It is struggling, but not even close to stalling. Okay, 22 kilometers an hour, 25 on the second gear in the street mode. Everything is working fine. I feel it is a little bit nervous, but this is not even close to stalling. Okay, let's close the throttle on the second gear. The bike slowed down to 17 kilometers an hour. Yeah, it is struggling. but it will not stall. Okay, now let's test the off-road mode. Same thing, in off-road mode. Is the fueling any different? Let's see. Okay. First gear, 13 kilometers an hour. I think it is running. No, it's struggling. I think it is struggling, but not stalling. Let me go to 15. At 15 it is going stable. Like if you give it like 5% of throttle, all of that snappiness is going away. Let me now test off-road mode, second gear. Okay, let's give it a try. Okay, close throttle, second gear, crawling 17 kilometers an hour. I feel the engine is struggling but not stalling. Adding a little bit of throttle, like not even 5%, it is getting much smoother. Okay, second gear, off-road mode, 20 kilometers an hour. I am able to crawl with no issues. No, not at all. Alright, so now let's go with the throttle snatchiness on-off transition of the throttle. And for this one I need to be a little bit faster. It will be between 3,500 RPM to 3,000 RPM. I will go off the throttle. I will cruise for about 1 second and then I will open the throttle gently, and then I will do the same with some more aggressive throttle opening. And let's see, and you will be able also to hear how the engine behaves. But I will keep my mouth shut. It will be a bit faster, so I don't know if you will be able to hear me. So let's listen to how the engine behaves. All right, so let's go. That was gear number 2 in the street mode. Let's try it the same on the gear number 3. Okay, so that was both second and third gear, going from around 3,500–4,500 RPM to closing the throttle, cruising for a bit, and then first gently open up the throttle and then aggressively opening up the throttle. In all of those scenarios, the engine was pretty smooth. I was not experiencing any issues, any need to do anything with the clutch. Okay, let's now the same stuff on the off-road mode. Same thing, it was even more aggressive, the throttle reaction on the third gear in the off-road mode, but no need to feather the clutch. Alright, and for this final test of simulating riding in traffic when the engine is hot, let me check the oil temperature now and the coolant temperature. As you can see, I have 93% of the coolant temperature and 96 degrees of the oil temperature, so the bike got pretty warmed up through all of the tests that we have just performed. But I will try to make it work harder so the fan kicks in. 98. And with this oil and coolant temperature, I feel nothing on my legs. 99% of the coolant temperature. Okay, now the fan kicked in, and yes, through normal jeans I can feel a little bit of heat, but you know what, I need to really focus on that to tell you that I feel it. Okay, the coolant temperature is 100 degrees. The coolant is now the coolant temperature is now dropping because the fan is working. But is it like a disturbing feeling on my legs? No. Is my butt hurting from the heat? No. So I would say that, okay, so the fan just went off with 96 degrees of the coolant temperature, and that was it. So I would say that also this simulating of the moving in traffic at low RPMs and with the coolant reaching 100 degrees, this is still not an issue. At least today, when you know the temperature outside is 20 degrees. Maybe when the temperature outside would be 30 degrees or higher, then that would be a bit more annoying. But with 20 degrees, it's not a problem. Alright, so those were the 4 tests for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you found it useful. If you would have any other questions about the 690, please let me know. I will be happy to test the motorcycle for you. Alright, folks, have a good day. Cheers, bye bye.